Wait a minute.
It's a meme. It's a meme.
Hey, good evening, YouTube family. I'm bringing you Sister Season 9, Heavy is the Crown. So it starts with Andy, and she is having PTSD. And I instantly knew because of what happened at the hospital during Karen's birth and her losing one of her babies, and not to mention all the bull crap that she had going on with Gary. And that's enough to just throw you in a tailspin. So I can definitely say that I understand that. So it's gonna be okay, Andy. And then it goes to at Karen's house, Miss Lisa and Aaron, and they are talking about Karen's status. And she's asking, has she come out the room? And then it's determined that she has not come out the room. And then she hasn't, come out the room out to see baby Faith or anything. And Miss Lisa says to let Karen feel how she feels. Don't rush her. And, she said when she's ready, then she'll come around. And then she tells Aaron, thank you so much. She really does appreciate him. And Karen calls out to her mom. And her mom had already left because her mom said that she would be back. So, excuse me, y'all. Her mom had already left out of the room. And then she said, my mom. And then she was gone. And then Aaron started looking like, what should I do? And then it goes to Andy, and she listened to a voicemail from Robin telling her all the good things and pretty much telling her how he misses her. And she cracks a smile. And I said, good, Andy, because you did need to smile. You just needed somebody, to give you a reason to smile. And she just smiles. And then she begins to talk with Fatima about gathering all the information on Dr. Cruz at the hospital. And then some patients, 4 patients of his have been, were unalived and they passed. And, Andy immediately, she goes in full force and she's like, we got to figure out what happened. So she wants to figure out what happened. And then she states that it is just not right, and that she is going to gather as much information as she can so that they can sue him for malpractice. I said, perfect. And then it goes to Danny and Tony, and they are having a meal together, and Danny seems to be annoyed by how he is eating his meal. And just point blank. She just annoyed by Tony, period, anyway. And so it don't matter if he would have said, hey, baby, you look nice, this, and that. She still was like, ugh. And then it goes to Fatima and the ball player, Kendrick. And they are sitting down talking about his money and his image. And then she is telling him about how businesses are, and the strings are way heavier and way heavier and way deep. And then he tells Fatima how she is going to be a knockout lawyer. I can't say what he actually said. It starts with a K. Knockout lawyer. And she says that he has to talk to his team because he was instantly wanting her, to represent him. And she just had to tell him pretty much that she's just a paralegal and she's not a lawyer. But he would have to talk with Andy. And then okay. And then Danny, she's at work, of course. She calls Karen to check on her and see how she's doing. Of course, she gets the voicemail, and she left her a message, and she said that she doesn't expect her to answer the phone because she understands, but she just wanted to leave her a voicemail to pretty much let her know that she does care about her. And then her cousin. Her cousin that was on he was on lockdown. So and then he says that he needs everything. He needs a few things from her. And he said, can she at least help him out with a little cheddar, a little money? And then he says that he needs new clothes, new hair, and a new haircut, new clothes, and he need money. And then Rock and Leonard, Rock and, his cousin, oh, I'm so sorry, y'all. I do apologize. I am just yawning. Please forgive me. But I only got a few more pieces to go through. So, and then he is missing. And then, something, that person, that individual that works with Danny at the airport, and that she wasted hot coffee on his head, and it was an issue at work. So he comes around when he messing everything up, and they trying to have Danny and her cousin, they are trying to have a bonding moment and just trying to just bond. And I'm like, now how he just gonna come over there just messing up the thing? Just pretty much was basically being nosy, if you must say. He was basically being nosy. And I'm like, sir, please, don't do that, sir. Don't do that. Do not. And then he came over there trying to get down in it. And then, and then Rock, he said, I know your oblong head self so-and-so and so-and-so. It was so funny when he said that to that man. And I said, oof, oh, jeez. Wow. And then Leonard finally just walks on and moves to the left. If he was gonna move to the left, move to the right, move to the right. And if he was gonna move to the left, move on to the left. I'm like, sir, please go on. And then Aaron and Baby Faye, they come in the room to give her some, Karen some positive energy. And because they were showing her how she was looking, and she looked very in distress. And I'm thinking, I understand and I know exactly what's going on. So my whole thing is, he's giving her positive energy, and you would think that she says that she is not meant to be a mother. I never was meant to be a mother. That's why she didn't. That's why both of my babies didn't make it. Only one. And then Aaron says that he is here if she needs him and she wants to talk. I said, Aaron, that's good. That's a good message to have. But you got to understand. I mean, I guess you don't understand it like I thought that you understood. Because it's like Karen is going to come around in her own way. And then he said that he there if she wants to talk. And then it goes to, I was so embarrassed. And then Kendrick and Fatima, they're still talking about, his career and how, she can help him and what he should do and what he shouldn't do. And why Hayden come up in there just being weird. He came in there and he was like, hey, what's up? You my favorite. You was my favorite ball player. You was my favorite ball player. You was shooting them hoops. You were shooting them hoops. You was my favorite ball player. I'm like, Hayden, please. And then why? I wasn't expecting this. I was not expecting this. Do you remember Marie that was messing with Hayden? And they was, getting it in and all that stuff. She is, oh my goodness. I was not expecting Marie to be Kendrick's aunt. And then she tells Hayden to stay out of it because, I mean, you know how that situation was, how you can F up a thing, pretty much she was saying, and to stay out of it because she don't need his help and her nephew don't need his help neither. And Kendrick says that he wants to tell his teammates about her, which is Fatima. And then Marie just pretty much was just saying, well, I thought I was going to be talking to Miss Barnes. And then Fatima just pretty much told her that Miss Barnes is not available, but I'd be more than happy to take care of, Kendrick. And she said, okay. Well, are you in good hands? And she attests to her that he is in good hands. And then she said, okay, I'm trusting you. And I'm like, Fatima, you better put it down and you better do what you need to do because don't piss Miss Maria off. Don't piss Miss Maria off. And then that's when, of course, Kendrick says that that's why he wants to tell his teammates about Fatima. And then Fatima said, well, I'm just a paralegal. You will want to, get with Andy. And I said, okay, Fatima, I feel it. And then, well, let me just say this. Zach is drinking and crying while reminiscing about losing his twin baby girl. And he keeps saying, man up, man up, man up. And he begins to drink out the whole bottle. And because he was saying, man up, I'm used to it, man up. Then he started drinking. He drank some out the shot glass. And then when he said man up for the second time, then he had just drank out the whole bottle and stood up. I said, oh, Zach. I said, please don't let Zach's character be a graven alcoholic. Please. And then it goes to commercial, of course. And then when it comes back, Zach starts playing his game and, getting his mind off of stuff. And he started playing the game and all that stuff. And he looks like he's in good spirits. And then Danny comes over and she says that she is going to share her narcotics with him to help him feel better and get his mind off of things. And then Zach says, you gonna share your bag with me? And she said, yeah. For old time's sakes. And then she tells Zach that it is not his fault about, you know, the fact that Karen lost one of her babies. And then she also pretty much said that you would have a second chance at being the best father that you can be, because she then said that he will have another chance with Fatima. And then she says that he is her boy and that she loves him, and they both just, I said, oh, that's what Zach needed. Because you know how, you know, Zach and Danny, they've been knowing each other for a long time. And it's also nice that Aaron is willing to step in and be a listening ear for him. And I said, okay, I like that. I really, really like that. And that was just, oh, good. And I said, yay, Zach. I said, I hope you're going to be okay, Zach. I hope you're going to be okay. And then Karen finally comes out the room saying that she just wants a water. And then he said, okay. And he was happy to see her out the room. And she said, I just want a water. And he said he had some in the car. And he goes downstairs. He goes downstairs to get the water. And then I'm really thinking that she is going to see baby Faith and say, but she didn't break. And then, I mean, she was just looking at the baby, and then the baby starts to cry. And she is contemplating on what she should do, whether she should feed the baby, whether she should love the baby, and whether she should hold the baby. And she was saying that she's not meant, she's saying that she is supposed to be different, and she just looking at baby Faith, and she says that she can't do it. She just can't do it. And she just walks out the room. And I said, there was so many things that was happening in this episode. It was PTSD and postpartum depression, because that's what that's what Karen is having, big time, postpartum depression. And I felt super, super, super bad for her, because I can understand. And, you know, if you know for a fact that you're, you know, suffering with postpartum depression or things after a baby, you should go to the doctor immediately, because just being honest and speaking, I suffer from postpartum depression, and I didn't figure out until the end, when I was pretty much almost about to hit rock bottom. And then I was able to just think about things, and it just took me a minute, because I was just to myself a lot, and I just didn't want to do nothing, didn't want to come out the room, and just didn't want to be around people when I first had my daughter. But she is 13 now, yay. And her birthday is in a few hours, on the 14th. So it's sad, and it's like people go through things like this every single time that they give birth and have babies. So, I mean, I can understand it from all points. I can understand Karen's point of view, and then I could also understand Karen's point of view, and I could also understand Andy's point of view as well. Because sometimes it's just situations, it just be a little bit too much for you to handle. It'd be a little bit too much for you to handle sometimes. And then it's okay though. You just have to, if you can just come out of it. Like I was able to just come out of mine and, you know, not go to the doctor, but I'm pretty sure I would have been a whole lot better, a whole lot quicker if I would have went to the doctor and spoke to the doctor, because all it is you pretty much just need somebody to talk to. And with that being said, that is really what was going on with Karen. And I just felt super, super bad for her. But, you know, as women, we go through things, and then, you know, we pick ourselves up, and then we figure out our next move, and we figure out what's going to be the best move for yourself, as well, yourself and your child. So with that being said, y'all, this was Sisters Season 9, and this was Heavy is the Crown. It was such a good episode. I mean, I have just been able to just really get back with Sisters and just feel, you know, how I used to feel back in the day when it first came on. So with that being said, this is Sisters, and I want y'all to do me a favor: like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm gonna go ahead and get this video uploaded for you shortly. Bye, YouTube family. Bye. And this is my babies. So, bye. I love them so much.